You're listening to Bears Beyond the Gate, a Bristol Bears podcast made by fans for fans, with three friends who love the club, the game and all things Bears. Well, boys, we are live from the Philarmonic pub in Cardiff on St Mary's Street, about 1:30. Before the game, we thought we'd come down here and record a few pre-match thoughts. Ambles, and so forth. So, lads, I've been here all morning setting up this deal. You boys have just turned up. But what we're going to do is, I thought we'd have a quick chat about our thoughts of the game, look at the lineups, and then we're going to try and do a post-match pod afterwards, and we can always then go back and talk about what we thought. So, Lee, I'm going to come to you first.
Hello.
This is your debut at Big Day Out. You didn't make it last year, but what are your impressions so far?
Well, I'm still remaining on balanced. Miles already dug me out on ITV News today.
Called you out, did he?
He did. He called me out because he said I wasn't here, admittedly. But everyone knows that. Everyone knows the reasons. But so far, we got here about an hour ago. We've done 2 interviews with TV. My feet haven't really touched the ground yet. So can we talk about how I feel after the game?
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Right, Miles, let's talk about the lineup, all right? Because Bears announced their lineup. 2, I'd say, big surprises on that. Bernard Janssen van Rensburg, benched. Gabs Ibitoye, benched. So, Maroney comes in.
Yeah.
Big Bill Mata, injured. And by the way, I saw him just now. He is seriously big. Santi Grondona now on the... number 8,
yeah,
and we've got Maroney at centre, and we've got Benjamin Grondona. It feels like an Argentinian affair. So what do you think? Are we strong enough to get the 5 points?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, a few injuries, etc. Bill Mata, a bit unsurprising, but Santi coming in, bit of Argentinian beef over in Cardiff. He'll do the job. He'll step up. All Bristol players are in the wing, ready to step up. Yeah, I think Janssen van Rensburg on the bench and Gabs is a little bit of a surprise to many fans. But system players. What do they call themselves? Yeah, system players. Sorry, these days, and they haven't. He hasn't had a rest all season, so he can step up at any point. I don't think we need to worry. I think when we're 5 points in, 50 points up, Bernard will step in and make it 70 points. No worries.
Really surprised. Janssen van Rensburg has never been like a bench player, has he?
No.
I'm miffed by it, but obviously Pat knows what he's doing, and Impact we trust. I was just really surprised. It was quite shocking news today. But like Miles said, the Argentinians will step up. I mean, they're class operators. They're world-class players, and I'm really confident we're gonna get a big win.
The other thing I wanted to point out with the lineup was the Bristolian angle to it. So Thomas Gwilliam at Bristol Academy isn't been pulled in. Thax is injured, so we've got Gwilliam on the bench. Massive day for him if he comes off the bench. And we've been quietly impressed with him in the Prem Cup campaign. We've got Dunny and Owen as our engine room, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
2 Bristol Bournemouth. We've got Ellis Genge and George Kloska in the front row, and we got George Taylor on the bench. He's another academy product. So, and then of course he is academy but not Bristolian. Aidan Boshoff is on the wing, and that's a massive call for him as well, with Gabs Ibitoye on the bench. But Boshoff has been tasked with playing in that position with that sort of reputation. So some big calls, but some really good succession selection.
And we should also remember that Boshoff's a Cardiff boy, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah.
So he's going to be really chomping at the bit to get out on that pitch. Chomping and chewing everything.
I mean, the bit, there's going to be nothing left of the bit.
No. And I feel like, I mean, it's a big stage, and this is what these the young lads are kind of primed for.
This is why they do it. So let's go the other side. Quins. Now, I saw a few Quins fans earlier. They love these events. We love Quins fans, and they love these events. But they were a little bit disappointed in the team that had been put out. Just to summarise for those that don't know, no Marcus Smith, Caden Murley playing out of position. Still got Dom Brandt. They've got a couple of Argentinians, Isgro, but there's no Northmore. There's none of those big names they've had before. On paper, to me, it looks like a routine win for Bristol, but there are still some good players at Quins, and we have been done by Quins before. Do you think, Miles, I'm being overly worried about this, or do you think that the fact they're not really taking that seriously is in our favour massively?
I think you're worrying over nothing, Pete. I think you've stayed in Cardiff overnight. You've broken up without your family, and worry is on your mind.
No, wait, we should say it was only broken up temporarily for one night.
Sorry.
This isn't official split.
So you're right.
Yeah.
Pete's missus is on the way to.
She's on the way. Pete's broken up in Cardiff with unnecessary worry, whereas the Clarks and the Andrews have driven over from Cardiff this morning, full stomachs, 15 coffees in Lee's stomach. He's buzzing.
That's good.
And I think we are not worried. Yeah, I was a little bit surprised by the Harlequin team sheet. They've rested some international players. We probably understand they've got a tough gig next weekend, but as have Bristol. But yeah, they're a very playable side. They're very good. On their day, I would always be concerned that Quins can switch it over, play well and score a lot of points. So we still need to be on it and defend, dare I say, a little bit better than last week.
I mean, to be honest, Exeter won last night.
Yeah.
The latest update as we speak is that Leicester Tigers are 22-0 up against...
Actually, that's just changed. Now it's 22-10, is it?
Against Gloucester. So we need Gloucester to do us a favour. But either way, we've got to do it ourselves. We have to get 5 points.
Yeah.
It's a must 5 points if we want to stay in touch. And Sarries are playing. They're only 5 points behind us. We don't want Sarries to win in their big game. So an absolute must win. I think the last thing to do before we go and watch the Bear Run is just to mention that the women's game is happening as we speak.
Yes.
We didn't go in for various reasons. We won't go into it. It's difficult. But I did notice a lot of people going into the stadium. So I'm pleased. I think they'll get a decent crowd watching them. Again, playoff hopes have gone for the women, but I really hope that they enjoy the experience. And I was really pleased to see in the lineup that both Ella Lovibond is starting at 15, Jenny Herring starting on the flank. 2 players that are unheralded Bristol players. Jenny, I know, she's a biology teacher, so she's she's a teacher. She does it part-time. And then we also know that Ella Lovibond works at the university. We've chatted to her over the years, and she's really got stuck in and is commanding a place. So let's hope that the Bears women win it. They deserve to win it and rebuild for next year. Right, boys, I think we're going to call it a day on that. We're going to try and come back afterwards. We may have a few clips. We're going to chat. We've already met a lot of listeners. We're going to try and have a few clips from people, but we're going to try and do a post-match pod from here, and then I'll stitch it all together tomorrow.
Just quickly before I forget, just want to say brilliant to see Sarah Beaumont, Johnny Wood, Liam Wood,
Ryan
Keyshaw, and everyone else that we met. Sorry if I've forgotten you pre-game. But come and see us after, and it'll be brilliant to see you all.
Apologise that we were also on the Bears social media channel, and we've also been interviewed by ITV Highlights, so apologies in advance for letting the side down. Anyway, we've got to go, boys. We've got stuff to do.
Let's do it.
Over and out. Okay, boys, so we're now back at the Philarmonic. Just come straight back after the end of the game, and it's fair to say it wasn't quite what we predicted before the game, was it? And actually, I bumped into a couple of listeners who probably had a few, to be fair, but were pretty vociferous about how disappointed they were with the result and the performance. Words we use that I can't repeat on this podcast, but I also think we have to put that into a little bit of perspective because it's like sort of passion that happened straight after the match. But the bottom line is, it wasn't at all what any of us expected or predicted, and it was a disappointing result. And I think we have to say right from the start, we know the effort is always there. It's a brutal game, rugby. There's no lack of effort ever, but it's usually whenever there are problems, it's application, or it's decision making, or it's kind of skill sets. And sometimes those are lacking. Lee, you wanna come in? What's your thoughts?
I just want to say, actually, Pete, you're being really polite. I thought today's performance was a shit show. Absolute shit show. and I can only speak as I find.
Yep.
It was so disappointing because I was essentially sat with a load of Plumpton rugby fans, and they were all behind Bears. They had like Bears
Face paint.
Yeah, love it.
And it was kind of like everything that we wanted, the whole project to be. But that performance today was awful, and I don't know who we blame for that, but it was a shit show, mate.
No,
Sorry.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, you're absolutely right. When fans watching that saw things happen that we didn't predict would happen, and we didn't score enough tries, we didn't beat them, and we had quite a lot of opportunities to score, and there seemed to be quite a lot of mistakes made. Miles, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, sadly, I'd only describe that as instead of big day out, big diabolical outing. I say it from the heart. I mean, I love coming to Cardiff today. I had great expectations of a massive win against Quins. There's no excuse for not losing today. It was in effect a home day out, a big squad. We had big players coming in, and we just didn't perform. We didn't click. We looked like we have not played together as a team since the beginning of the season. I cannot get it. I know we've had internationals come back in, but I'm sorry, we've had a week to practice together as a team at the High Performance Centre. There is no excuse for that performance.
Well, Neil, you want to say something?
I know you'll be a balance because you're the balance of the pod. You always are. But I cannot see for the life of me how we could have lost that game. Quins are like, it wasn't even the Quins' first team, and they've been awful pretty much all season, and yet they've still beaten us. That was a performance from Bears where, we said ring rusty last week, but I don't know how you go from what's the language from ring rusty?
What's the next level?
What's worse than rusty? I mean, that's seized up. There ain't no WD-40 that's going to unseize that performance, is there?
No.
Let's face it.
That was awful.
Just to play the balanced view there, and the devil's advocate, only because I feel like we are supposed to.
Yeah.
I got to say, Quins did turn up today.
I agree.
More than, theoretically
I
speaking,
agree.
you're absolutely right. There was no reason why they should have won that game. Theoretically, but the game is not played in theory. The game is played in the heat of battle, and I think, as I was watching the game, and I was watching us struggle to make to score when we had red zone. We were in the red zone. Our red zone efficiency must have been shocking. That every time we kind of seemed to get any ascendancy, we turned the ball over, either knocking on or penalties. But one of the things I thought when I was watching it, I thought those Quins are absolutely up for it. There was a defensive wall there.
Yeah.
But the breakdown, they beat us at the breakdown, absolutely fair and square.
But my question is, why weren't we up?
Oh, I agree. No, I totally agree with you. I can't explain that because I don't know. But the point is, they dominated us at the breakdown. They seemed to clear out the ball quicker. And then with the number of the discipline, the penalty count, I have no idea what it was, but it must have been well over double figures. And a lot of those penalty count things were things holding on, that sort of stuff. And that to me says that our boys, it was a smash and grab in some ways from the pack, because they didn't have the biggest pack. They didn't have names that we've heard of. So when you say there's no excuse, I kind of think there is an excuse in the sense that you've got to remember there's always two teams in a game of rugby.
I agree.
And also, I think the other thing I would say is that their pride must have been absolutely stung by what happened at Christmas. And I wonder whether they, the messaging that they got as a team, the Twins, this week was we need, forget about our season. We are rubbish, we're doing terrible, but we have to repay our fans for that shambles that they experienced at Twickenham. And I just wonder whether it just gave them that little bit. And we did say before the pod that there are one or two dangerous players. And unfortunately today, Alex Dobrandt had a game.
He was
for the
sublime,
ages.
wasn't he?
But that said, we made it just felt like we were forcing things, we were throwing passes where we shouldn't have thrown them, we were making poor decisions. So I don't know why that is.
Well, the Bears that I saw today wasn't the Bears that I know.
No.
I actually didn't recognise them. It kind of felt like they were so disjointed that I didn't know what we were trying to do. And I think I don't know. like if we kept to the game plan, we should have won that game easily.
It was funny though. I mean, we had lots of lovely shapes in the middle of the park. We looked good, but this is it. You don't win games in the middle of the park, do you?
You can throw all the shapes you like. You can have all the pizzazz, the effort, and the integrity, of which Bristol have no doubt an amazing side at doing that. But unless you break the lines, break the defence. I mean, we saw it last week, didn't we, boys? Leicester defence was just absolutely phenomenal. And again today, all Queens needed to do was turn up, defend hard, punch a few lines. Alex Donbrandt was on fire, and it just scuppered what we tried to do as Bears.
Do you think? I mean, again, we'll never know. But Lee, do you think we were a little bit subconsciously complacent today?
I don't know. I mean, there was something not right today. I don't know what I would put it down to, but in my eyes, we've lost a massive opportunity in the last 2 games now where we could have really pushed on, and now we're kind of like chasing the tail.
It's weird, isn't it? Because, you know, over Christmas, those games that we won, it was all down to like graft and grit, solidity, and defence. It was a terrible game, really. It was very sloppy. Very sloppy.
Quins didn't do anything special.
They defended hard.
We just had no fluidity at all. I mean, throughout the whole game. It's the first game I actually watched 80 minutes of, and I just.
I know you're regretting it.
I was looking at it and I was thinking like there was no fluidity. I didn't know what we were doing.
No, I just think we got caught cold by them. I feel embarrassed because I saw them walk into the game after we did the bear run, and I shouted at them and said, "Boys, we need the 5 points more than you," and laughed. And I thought, no, actually, they want to win this game, don't they?
I actually found that performance today embarrassing. I'll be honest. I actually found that embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean, sadly, you know, back at the gate, you would have had a bit of passion. But today, you know, we've come to Cardiff. We were super excited at the beginning of the game. It should have been our home game. And we walked away with our tails between our legs.
But that sounds like you wanted it to be taking place in BS3, though.
Not particularly, but you know, I hate to say, we go back to Bristol a little bit embarrassed by that performance, and sadly, you know, we've got a break for Europe, and I'm now really concerned during the run-in. I think we've now scuppered. You know, I might sound negative. I think we've scuppered our top 4 chances hugely over the last 2 weekends.
Yeah, I mean, we have got to play Bath at home and Sarries at home, which isn't always, even though we played them away, that's not always right. Boys, I'm going to go change the narrative a little bit. One of the positive things today, probably one of the best players in the stadium, the guy or the woman that was doing the lookalike cams. Did you even notice that? They were the 3 best.
Harry Hill.
Yeah, Harry Hill. But this is the classic. It was Harry Hill, then it was Johnny Depp, and then it was Joe Sim, and it was Joe Sims.
Love it.
Now you've got to say that was quality. That was quality. So
I didn't see that.
I don't think.
It was.
We've said lookalike cam is a good thing, but the lookalike cam person let himself down when they did Bob the Builder, when it was someone dressed as Bob the Builder. But back on form today, and Joe Sims at the end, and it was Joe Sims. I love that. But so fair play to the lookalike person, best player on the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely, best player. Let's turn up in a bit.
So. I mean, we're doing this. It's a raw pod, isn't it, boys? It's a raw pod.
It's very emotional.
It's an emotional pod.
We're pretty pissed off.
We're disappointed, and I know full well the players. I could tell when Donny went off, he looked upset. The players will be up. They'll be hurting. They'll know that it's not been a good day. They'll know that it's not gone the way they want. And I don't know. We never questioned the effort. I don't think anyone downed tools at any time. You know, and like if people down tools, that's a different thing. But clearly, stuff went on that it just didn't work, and I don't know why it didn't work. And it's disappointing, and we're all disappointed. And I don't know. I mean, it's quite scary to think that the next game they've got. You know, you always say, "Oh, you've got another game."
It's an easy game,
put
isn't
it right. Well, yeah, you always say, "Well, don't worry. The good thing is you've got another game to put it right." It's like Toulouse away, they boys will know they've got to go out there and they've got to do something.
No, I think we should be completely honest. Pat's got his tactics wrong. Pat's got the tactics wrong
Fair
today,
play.
and we should, be open to that. I mean, we should have beaten Quinn today by
I think you're
by
right.
a margin.
I mean, the two big selection issues you could argue we mentioned before was Bernard Janssen van Rensburg,
Who never plays on the bench. Ever.
and possibly Ibitoy on the wing. I mean, Aidan Boshoff, it's a big moment for him. It was hard for him. It was a hard game. He was a game guy, but there are times where you think, experience sometimes does make a difference in these things.
Maybe,
And he was,
right. More than that.
but he'll learn. I mean, he'll love the experience. And then, and unfortunately, that when they came on, they couldn't affect the change that's needed.
I think it was too little, too late, wasn't it? Really,
So-
everything we tried to do, Queen's did really well and just shut us down the whole time. I mean, I hate to say, but Queen's fans are going to be cock a hoot.
Yeah.
They didn't need to do a lot. They just shut us down, defended well, and they just got the points. A low-scoring game, but they did what they needed to do.
Actually, it's just reminded me, talking about the lookalike person.
Yeah.
I mean, if that person had real cojones, you know what they could have done? They could have done Ming the Merciless, and then a picture of Genji. Because Genji, can we just say, Genji looked frightening.
He did.
He's shaved his head and he's got this moustache.
When we seen him come out, he was in a suit.
I know.
Am I right?
I don't know.
Well, when we saw the bear run,
Yeah.
I don't know what he was in. I was scared. It was Ming the Merciless. I mean,
Oh dear.
so the lookalike person let themselves down there. They could have done that, but I'm not sure Genji would have quite appreciated it. And understandably, I don't
I'm
think
not being funny though, but
you're going to draw a line
he
on.
wasn't that great today, was he?
Yeah,
So-
he won't say it was his best game.
No, it wasn't his best
but
game.
it wasn't anyone's best game, to be honest. I don't think. And I tell you, the one other big issue that would amuse me when we did score at the end, and it was Stephen Luatua that scored. I turned around to the person next to me and said, "I thought he'd been substituted." And he just come on and snuck on at the last minute and scored.
Well,
the refs,
Santi.
we had 16 on the pitch and no one knew about it. But yeah, he must have.
I mean, I guess that, and comms at the end. I mean, people say maybe Ravuvu didn't realise it was 80
Hang on,
minutes.
Miles. Not Ravuvu. You mean Ravovo?
Ravuvu, sorry. Didn't realise 80 minutes. I mean, come on. Everyone tells you there's 80 minutes. Hold on to the ball. There's a shot clock there. You do not kick it out to touch. A last chance to lose at the game.
But that was just.
And we massively screw up and kick it out.
Well, that was. I mean, there was a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? The vibe. I remember earlier on. I didn't tell you boys, but there was too many half and half scarves being sold on St Mary's Street, and that vibe is wrong.
You're right.
That is the vibe
It
that
said
went onto
Bristol
the pitch.
versus Super Quins, and I think that really set the scene for the day, didn't it?
Well, I would say any Bristol fans that are listening to this, if you bought a half and half scarf today, please don't listen to us anymore.
Yeah, you're not welcome.
We don't want you. We don't want you.
And yeah, I mean, I don't know much, boys. What more we can say? I think we've done our post.
Not really. I mean, like you said, on the positive side, after Toulouse next weekend,
There isn't really a positive, is there?
No.
There isn't. And
Not at all.
I don't think it's fair to
Should we
say
just
that.
get pissed?
I think it's time to call it a day
go back to Bristol.
and lick our wounds. And there is still, there are still 6 or so Premiership games left. So I'm here with long-time pod supporter Alice, and has come to support the Bears, like all of us. But Alice, what's your thoughts post-match? You haven't a lot of time to process it. What are you thinking?
So, my thoughts are, Pete, at the end of the day, it's so nice to come to a neutral ground where everyone is on neutral terms and everyone can really give it the big un. I do feel today we may not have bring our all. However, we've still got 3 games to go.
More than 3.
More than 3 games to go.
I feel like it's 5.
5 games to go. Can we redo that?
No, keep going, Alice. Doesn't matter. What the point you're trying to make is that
Okay.
we've still got.
The point is,
It's not the end. We've still got a chance.
cut that. I'm going to carry on. We've still got five games to go. this may not have been our best game in the season, but it's on neutral grounds, and I feel like we've still got things to build on, and I have all the faith in the team and Pat Lam, and I feel like we're going to give it our all.
I like it.
So I'm still going to be down at Ashton Gate.
You've got to keep the faith. You've got to keep going to the end, haven't we?
Absolutely.
It's been a disappointing day.
The season's not over yet, Pete. It's not over.
It's not over until it's over. So I'm here in the Philarmonic. I've got a Bears supporter here, but slightly different one. So if you could tell us who you are and your background, that'd be great.
Hi mate, my name's Rob. I'm from Skewen in South Wales, near Swansea and Neath. Me and a few of my friends from Skewen RFC come up today to watch the Bears against the Harlequins. Unfortunately, you guys didn't get the result, but love the game, love seeing you guys out on the field. Really, we're pushing you guys forward at the end to get over the line and pinch the game, but unfortunately weren't meant to be. But guys, all the best for the next game. Loved it. Thank you very much.
Did you, just out of interest, did you come to this because it was in Cardiff and you just wanted to support one of the teams, or have you always supported the Bears?
I was supporting the beer, if anything, I'll be honest, man.
The Bears?
yeah.
I like that. That's good.
So nearly the Bears, but more the Beers.
So normally Ospreys fan or...
Yeah, and Ospreys fan usually. Unfortunately, we're going through a bit of a turmoil at the moment, which you guys have probably heard about, but fingers crossed we'll be here for a few more seasons.
Well, it's a good chance that we'll be back here again for a big day out next year, hopefully better than today, so hopefully you'll come again.
Absolutely, be here next year. Cheers, mate.